Hello and welcome back to Cooking Live. I'm so happy you're here with me today because we are making one of my favorite foods, which is sloppy joes. And I know what you might be thinking, sloppy joes, there's no way you can make that healthy, but I am here to tell you that yes, there is. I want to get going. I'm gonna brown up about 3/4 of a pound of ground sirloin here, and I'm gonna put some chopped onions and peppers in the pan too. Okay, just like that good. My pan's about medium high. Alright, got my meat started there. This meat is going to cook up pretty fast because I have it at basically room temperature. That is one of my favorite ways to speed up cooking dinner. Is the first thing that you do whenever you are getting all your stuff ready, take your meat out of the fridge. Thaw your meat ahead of time so that there is thawed meat in the fridge that you can take out while you get everything else put together, and that will seriously save you somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 5 minutes of cooking time. Which doesn't sound like a lot whenever you just say it, but whenever you're in the thick of dinner, 3 to 5 minutes is a lot. Okay? So I'm gonna let that meat do its thing and come over and talk to you a little bit about how we're going to make this meal, this sloppy joes meal, healthier. When I was a kid, we always made sloppy joes by getting the bottle of ketchup, the bottle of mustard, and the trusty bottle of Worcestershire sauce out, and we flavored it that way. But today I'm going to use a can of tomato sauce instead. Ketchup is actually a really great source of high fructose corn syrup a lot of the time, and that's something that we don't necessarily need more of in our diets. We need less added sugars to our in our meals. Now, I realize I had forgotten to put an important ingredient, which is brown sugar. The perfect sloppy joe is a nice combination of sweet and tangy. Okay, we're gonna get the sweetness from some brown sugar, and I'm gonna use real brown sugar here. For my pan of sloppy joes, I'll probably put 2 to 3 tablespoons in the pan. If I divide that among my 8 or so sandwiches I'm going to get out of that, then I'm really not getting much brown sugar per serving. But because I have the brown sugar already being added, I didn't want to add more sugar from the ketchup. And that's why for our recipe today, we have replaced the ketchup with regular just tomato sauce. Not tomato paste, tomato sauce, because they're sloppy joes. We want them to be sloppy. If you put tomato paste in there, you're gonna get ploppy joes instead of sloppy joes. We don't want that. We want our sloppy joes to stay sloppy. All right, this is cooking up nice. We're about halfway done with our meat here. Okay, just gonna put that around. Hike my heat a little bit. Okay, the other thing we're doing to make our sloppy joes a little more health conscious is we are actually going to put some lentils in them. You may have heard me say at the beginning of this video that I'm putting 3/4 of a pound of ground beef in my pan. And then later I said for the 8 sandwiches or so. And if you were like following along really closely and doing the math, you were probably thinking, ain't no way, Erin, I need more than that on my sandwich. I can't take 3/4 of a pound of ground beef and split it among 8 sandwiches. And you're right, you shouldn't. You would end up with a sandwich that was seriously this big, and that is not going to satisfy anyone. So, in an effort to increase our fiber and increase our plant-based protein and decrease our saturated fat and cholesterol, we are going to put red lentils in our sloppy joes as well as ground beef. I'm going to make a mix about half and half. One thing I love about using lentils and other legumes is the science word for it, but that's a family of plants that includes black beans, pinto beans, navy beans, and all the different kinds of lentils. One thing I love about them is that they are cheap. Not only are they nutrition powerhouses, but they are super cheap. A pound of ground beef will cost you about $5 in today's market. 2 pounds of red lentils will cost you less than $2. And so it's a really economic way to make the not only the food spread, but the dollars, the grocery bill spread as well. I like ground sirloin, so it's already low in fat, but it still does have some saturated fat. Lentils have no saturated fat, and so they are going to be adding a lot of volume to my recipe, not a lot of taste. They'll be adding volume, but not adding any more saturated fat or any sodium or any of that stuff. All right, that's so close to being done. I went ahead and pre-cooked the lentils. You will see that there is a bit of a change here. They say red lentils on the bag, but they are actually more of a orange color. And then once they are cooked, they turn yellow. I promise you, this does turn into this. I just cooked them. I cooked these in my Instant Pot. It was really easy. I just popped it in there for 2 minutes and then let it naturally, the pressure naturally release. But there's also directions right here on the back of how to cook it stovetop. It's really easy. You basically follow the same procedure as rice. Okay? So, my ground beef, just about perfect there. I'm gonna put in my lentils. That's about as much lentils as was, probably 2/3 of a cup dry. And it has basically doubled in size there. And so volume for volume, my sloppy joes are gonna be half ground beef, half lentils. I'm just gonna get that all mixed up. I'm going to add my sloppy factor, my tomato sauce here. This is 1 8-ounce can. I'm gonna add my tart factor here. Cheap yellow mustard, right? Just give it a good squirt. It's technical unit of measurement, a squirt. All right. Now we're just gonna get that all kind of mushed up in here. All right. Remember how I said I like ground sirloin? I like it because it's low fat. Because it's low fat, it's not adding a bunch of grease to my pan, and so you may have noticed I did not drain my meat. If I was using ground chuck or even 80/20, I would probably make a better effort to drain that, but because it was so lean, I don't feel the need to do that. Okay, so we have added our sloppy factor. We've added our tangy factor. We're gonna add a little savory, salty factor here, which is our Worcestershire sauce. Little sprinkle there. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of brown sugar. There's about 1 tablespoon. There's about 2.5 more tablespoons. So I end up with a little bit over 3 tablespoons for my pan full here. Okay. Gonna get that all mixed up. The best way to tell if something is tasting right is to actually taste it. So I'm gonna taste my sloppy joe mixture here. It's hot. Okay, that's pretty good. Probably need a little bit of pepper just to balance it out. Balance it with a little bit of salt. But the sweetness is good. All right. There you go. I'm gonna bring this over to the camera so you can see. You can tell that there's some lentils in there, but you can also tell that there's meat in there. So it is about the same texture as regular sloppy joes. You don't taste the lentils hardly at all. The lentils, if anything, give the sauce a little more body. You may be used to seeing sloppy joes that are a little bit more red than this. Because we use tomato sauce and not jarred ketchup, that has affected the color a little bit because we're also not adding the food coloring that comes with ketchup. So that is our Sloppy Joe base. You could serve this on regular hamburger buns, like regular Sloppy Joes, but today I want to make a little bit more of a balanced plate with you. Okay, I got my 9-inch plate, and I'm going to make a Sloppy Joe salad. All right, put some mixed greens on here. Remember, 1 to 2 cups of vegetables per meal. That's about 2 cups. And I want a few little crunchy things there. Because this is pretty sloppy, I don't feel the need to use any real dressing with this, because we're going to get plenty of moisture from our meat here. There we go. And then, all right. In keeping with our balanced plate, the lentils do add a little bit of starch, but this is only about half starch, so I still have some room for a starchy vegetable. I'm going to keep in tune with my kind of barbecue flavor here. I'm actually going to put a few potato chips on top, baked. I got baked like stacks here. Get a little bit of crunch going. Ta-da. And because I love them and that's what goes on my sandwich, I'm going to put some chopped up dill pickles on here as well. So there we have it, grown-up Sloppy Joes. You could put it on a little pepper just to make it pretty. You could put this on a bun, serve it with some carrot sticks, and it would still be balanced. But this might be something coming soon to a lunchbox near you. Bring it over here so you can see our beautiful Sloppy Joe balanced plate. Let me know if you give our new and improved Sloppy Joe recipe a try. I would love to hear how it turns out for you in the comments. I did serve this to my husband, who is not a habitual lentil fan, and he really enjoyed it. He told me that it tasted just like the real thing. So, bon appetit, and I will see you next time on Cooking Live. Take care.